everybody, and welcome to the Creative Corner. And today we're going to talk about getting our life sorted. So joining me today is author Robinanne Lavelle. Now, Robinanne, how are you?
Yes, I'm well, thank you.
Thank you for joining me here.
No, pleasure.
Okay, well, first we're going to find out who you are. So how about you tell us, who is Robinanne?
So part of me is an academic person, part of me is a spiritual person, and I've combined those throughout all of my life. So I've done a degree in economics, and then I've done a master's in education, a master's in management. The master's in education looked at designing textbooks, and the master's in management looked at empowering people in their workplace. So I feel that I've come from that background, and then whilst I was at university I started with yoga and then moved on to Buddhism and studied for 10 years with the monks who'd studied in Thailand. And so I have those two aspects to my life, that I have followed that real spiritual development, but at the same time education and management has been there as well.
I really like those two dynamics being introduced, that you've adapted them into how you live your life, which is really, really cool. Tell us more about Life Sorted. What is it about?
So Life Sorted is an 8-session practical guide, and it was developed while I was actually teaching a course about sorting one's life. And I used my background in understanding course development through being a lecturer and a teacher and that sort of thing, and my presentation skills, but I used it for my spiritual side as well. So it was about helping people get in touch with what they really authentically wanted to be, what goals they wanted to achieve in life, and what would be their comfort zone. Where would they make the most of their life? Instead of maybe being a nurse, they need to be a teacher or something like that. Or it could be that they're just stuck in some part of their life and need to find a way forward. Or it could just be that they're just at a loss. Maybe they're 18, they're just leaving school and they're looking for a direction. So this course has got 8 sessions. Each one sort of looks at different aspects of your life and also has audios attached to each particular session. So you can read the material, read the inspiring little stories, do the exercises, and then at the end of it you can actually sit down and do some mindfulness and meditation practical sessions with the audio.
I love that. So it's very proactive. There's an action to be taken with the publication. You mentioned before that the idea came from a course?
Yes, it did. Yes. So I was away in Karratha, in an isolated area, and people didn't have access to much. And I was teaching at the community college there. And when they saw that I was doing sort of small meditation groups in my home, they said, well, would you think about writing an actual course and delivering it for the area, which had 15,000 people at the time. So I ran the course there for a number of years, and that gave me the base to the book. I thought my students need a book to take away from this course. And then I thought, well, the book actually, you could use it completely on its own and you weren't limited to having to come to the course.
That's
you could
brilliant.
Walk yourself through.
I like that, because it just makes this more accessible to people now, doesn't it?
Yes.
What about yourself? When you were writing the actual book itself, okay, you've adapted it from the course, but what did you learn about writing?
Well, I think I'd already learnt quite a lot about writing when I was doing my master's, when I was looking at what sort of format do students most want, what makes it easy to read some material. So that's when I found things like boxing up little exercises, putting in little stories, having a few pictures throughout. All this breaks it up for the reader, and my book you can sort of look at just one chapter a night or one chapter a week, and they're standalone, and you don't feel daunted that you have to get through a whole book.
That's so true. It is broken up quite well, so it doesn't seem too overwhelming. The formatting of it's very clean in that aspect as well, isn't it?
Yes.
So about the publishing process, what did you learn there?
Yes. Well, part of it was that I realised I wasn't a good proofreader. Surprise, surprise.
Authors should never proofread their own work. Okay.
No. So it was really wonderful to have you and your team working with me throughout that process, and I made some really dud errors that if they'd gone out to print I would have been particularly worried and embarrassed. So it was really, really helpful, and just just changing paragraphs around that you don't realise when someone else reads it. They go, oh, hang on, but that's a better introduction, and then we'll put that bit further down. So yeah, it's a great process, and it certainly fine-tuned the message you wanted to give.
Yeah, I think you've touched on it right there about how having someone else look at the book from another perspective, they see things that you as an author often don't, because you get very close to the work, don't you?
Yes, you do, yes.
So let's talk about the target market. Who's the book aimed at?
Well, really anyone, but I would say certainly not children. Anyone from sort of 16 onwards, more likely 18. It would be great for young people leaving high school. It would be a great present for them in their gap year if they have overseas, or in their first year of university, to really think about where they want to be, what they want to do, how they want to organise their life, what good routines do they want to develop, what goal setting can they put in place. And also being in touch with themselves authentically and spiritually as to who they are as a human being and what they want to communicate and give to our community. So I think 18-year-olds are particularly well suited to this, and their parents, if they could buy the book, they could actually help them walk through this process of helping a young person develop into the adult they want to be. And I think then, I was really surprised that a friend of mine who's a principal, and he's retired, he got a great deal out of the book, saying, well, it helped him sort of rethink about his life and where he wanted to be in the winter of his life. What did he want to do? Where was he going to even live? They were all questions that he could even do the meditation and the mindfulness exercises and start to sort out the rubbish from the clarity of what he really wanted to do.
That's fantastic. I've got 4 kids that are aged in their early 20s, and obviously they've all left school, but as you were talking there, I mean, I remember a few conversations I've had with them where this kind of reflection would be very valuable.
Yes.
And again, like you say, later on in life, I mean, we have these changes throughout our life.
We do have passages of time, yes.
Yeah, and so it's probably a really good tool to then just kind of stop for a moment and just reassess where you are.
Yes, absolutely.
And like I say, this isn't a mammoth, overwhelming book, you know? So I think it's a really good tool. What's been the feedback so far? What have you heard?
Oh, wonderful feedback. Well, like I was saying, from the principal that really helped him with his retirement, from a doctor whose child has panic attacks and stress, really helped them a lot, from another mum whose child has got ADHD and the other child could be on the autism spectrum. It was really helpful in working out some routines for them and some ways the families could operate to actually support those young children.
Wow, that's powerful. I mean, we've just been talking, when we were talking before about like who's it aimed at, I'm looking at just, general young people and people, but I'd never thought about those that are in learning difficulties or facing challenges that are a little bit more outside of this target demographic. So I like that. I like the diversity that it offers. What's next for you as a writer? I mean, this isn't your first book. I know you've done another book before. What's coming up?
So I've done another book this year. I've also done sort of 5 textbooks a few years ago. And so now I'm looking at my grandmother's book. She was also an author, and my mother was too. And my grandmother gave my mother her book that was unfinished. My mother then worked on it. It was still unfinished.
Oh, wow.
So it's been passed on to the 3rd generation. I'm going to finish it.
I have no doubt. I mean, that's running in the blood.
Yes,
I love that.
is.
Authors in the blood.
Yes.
Look, what I'm going to ask you next, if you just grab your book that's on the couch there, we're going to ask Robin to read a short passage from the book to kind of give you guys a bit of an insight as to what you can gain from this. So, Robin, take it away.
Thank you. Okay. So this part of the book's on page 63, and it's about problem solving through visualisation. In this session's audio practical session, I will help you develop the art of creative visualisation to bring about a relaxed state. You will begin to allow your inner self to find peace by identifying possible solutions to your problems. I will first take you through an exercise that guides you into a relaxed state where you will gradually let go of any tension. You will then enter a garden of your creation from your mind's eye. This is a wonderful opportunity to immerse yourself in a beautiful garden that you can visit any time. If you live in a multi-level apartment, This is your access to your own Shangri-La, a mystical earthy paradise with enduring happiness and almost immortal life. See what I mean by proofreading? In an isolated, harmonious valley in the Himalayas. So that could be your own Shangri-La. If you have a garden or courtyard, creating this in your mind's eye can still be a place to go. Leave the problems of the world behind you when you enter this relaxation state. Here you can ponder any problem and seek answers from your subconscious mind.
That's fantastic. There was a mortal, it wasn't a typo. What I want you guys to know is that also after, like, there's obviously some more in that passage, but there are QR codes here for you guys to scan that will take you to the audios.
Yes.
Right. Robinanne, I want to thank you so much.
Could I add that the audios have the backing of a beautiful music and lovely relaxation.
Terry O'Connor, Australia's highest selling instrumental musician.
Yes.
That's something to be listened to. Robinanne, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat to me today about Life Sorted.
It's a pleasure.
And for you guys out there, what I'd like you to do is there's a link at the bottom of the screen. Go and check it out. Have a look at what else Robinanne offers, because there is a lot that she has done in her life. Thank you so much for watching The Creative Corner, and we will see you next time.